Okay, we will begin with the shlokas. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannuti Visedasadanam Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Bhurbhuvassuvaha Tatsaviturvarehinyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvassuvaha Tatsaviturvarehinyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvassuvaha Tatsaviturvarehinyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Yeah, I would request Rashmi to chant the rest of the shlokas.
निःश्रेण्योत्तमलोकस्य वाग्देव्याः कर्णकुण्डले धर्मद्रुममहामूले वाल्मीकिव्यासयोः कृति कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वम् अरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनूमत्स्मरणाद् भवेत् श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनामवरानने यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्.
Thank you. Yes. Right. So we started off with the introduction. We had a lot to learn from the introduction itself. So we covered the topics of so there was Suryavamsha, Chandravamsha, who all belong to the Suryavamsha, and who all belong to the Raghuvamsha. That is the clan of of Sri Rama. Right, so some discussions about chandas, or the meter that is used in Ramayana, which is the Anushtup chandas. Right, Anushtup chandas is the meter where there are exactly 16 aksharas in each line of the shloka. Right, so if you took something like Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam, so you have Kujantam Rama Rameti 8, Madhuram Madhuraksharam 8, so it will 8 plus 8 plus 8 will be 16, so you have exactly 16 aksharams in one line, right? Ruhya Kavita Shakham 8, and Bandeva Almiki Kokilam is again 8, so that will again be 16. So totally an Anushtup Chandas Shloka will have 32 aksharas in it, 32 letters in it. So 40,000 and odd shlokas in the Ramayana and 1 lakh shlokas and odd in the Mahabharata. Most of them, more than 99% of them are in Anushtup Chandas. There are other Chandas also used in both Ramayana and Mahabharata, but predominantly Anushtup Chandas is what has been used in it. Right, so we went to that. I just bookmarked the place where we had stopped. Yeah, so this is just, I hope all of you are still able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so this was just a brief table of the names of the Kandas in Ramayana, how many chapters are there within those Kandas, and how many shlokas are there within them also. So the total of 606 chapters, right? 18,670 shlokas. Okay, so we will further go. So this GL, all these things are the Laghu and Guru rules to be followed within the shloka in the Anushtup Chandas. Right, so you have 4 combinations which has to be there, one of which has to be followed, right? And like this particular line says, right, in addition, for Anushtup, in every pada the 5th akshara would have to be a Laghu and the 6th akshara would have to be a Guru. right? So now if we took something like Kujantam Rama Rameti, right? So ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ fifth akshara Kujantam Rama, right? Fifth akshara is a laghu. Laghu is a hrasvaswara, right? A soft note. And Guru is a dirghaswara or a samyut akshara, which is a hard note. Okay, so it says here the fifth akshara would have to be laghu and the sixth aksharam will have to be a guru, alva. So ಏನಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಜಂತಂ ರಾಮ ರಾಮೇತಿ alva. So ra, the sixth akshara is a dirgha, ra, dirgha. So you take any the gurur brahma gu rur vishnu ಅಂತ ಬರುವಾಗ gurur brahma gu, gu is a soft note hrasvaswara, and rur, gurur, rur another, you are getting a dirghas, you are getting a hard note in the sixth. So you take any shloka that way, Namah Suryaya Chandraya Mangalaya Bhaya, you take anything, the fifth and the sixth aksharas will be laghu and guru respectively. Okay, so imagine, I mean, the genius of these composers, Vedavyasa or Valmiki, how consistently they maintained that for every single shloka. So yeah, so it's not technically not a very humanly effort to actually compose thousands of such shlokas with that consistency, right? So it needs divine knowledge and providence.
And Anushtup is one of the easiest chandas.
It is one of the
The other
easiest.
things are very long and even harder.
Even
right?
harder also, yeah. So there are other chandas like Malini, Upendra Indra Vajra, Upendra. So Shardula Vikridatam. These are all names of other chandas where you have different number of aksharas in each line of the shloka. Right, yeah. So yes, okay. So let's continue. So somebody has joined. Or read mode, is it? Okay, okay. That was a message. Is somebody else in the waiting room? Nobody in the waiting room. Yeah. Let me go to the reading mode, yes. Where is the reading mode? Please slide, yeah. Yeah. I think I downloaded the file again, so we had I had put up that sentence on the sure. ಈ ಲಘು ಗುರು ಮುಗ್ದಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ, so this translation word to word reading. Yeah, which occurred earlier. There was also a discussion, to actually come to a conclusion as to which happened first, whether Ramayana happened first or Mahabharata happened first, right? So then, or the question was, which was written earlier? Was Ramayana written first or Mahabharata written first? Something could have happened before, but the writing of it could have happened later, right? So, but when you look at the evidences, there is no mention of any Mahabharata incidents in the Ramayana, but there are references of the Ramayana incidents in the Mahabharata. So that way, we can sort of get some confirmation that Ramayana did happen before the Mahabharata. Okay, so let's. I think yeah, here, yes. Okay, so just go. The evidences may be circumstantial and speculative, but it is the following. Okay, it is as if the later composers knew about the Mahabharata incidents and the text, but consciously avoided any direct references. Okay, so let's read from here. Yeah. Okay, why is another translation of the Valmiki Ramayana needed? Okay, so Ashwath, is this visible ಈಗ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? Because if I go to the full screen, I'm only able to see one page at a time. I'm not able to freely scroll.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. No
I'll just
problem.
zoom in a little
Yeah,
bit
this is
here.
visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So why is another translation of the Valmiki Ramayana needed? So because I think there are so many people who've translated the Valmiki Ramayana. Let's see this. Surely there are plenty floating around. That's not quite true. Indeed, there are several translations of the Valmiki Ramayana, including some recent ones, but they are abridged. Abridged is they're concised or they're summarized. In any act of abridgment, some sections are omitted or summarized. Abridged translations, no matter how good they are not quite a substitute for unabridged translations, which bring in the nuances too. To the best of my knowledge, the list of unabridged translations of Valmiki Ramayana is the following. You can see there's Ralph T.H. Griffith. There's M.N. Dutt is also a very nice book, Manmathanath Dutt. His Mahabharata explanation is very detailed. Right? And then there's Hari Prasad Shastri, Desi Raju Hanumantarao, okay, so Robert Goldman. Given the timelines, the Goldman translation is the only one based on the critical edition. Right? So, having translated the Mahabharata, it was natural to translate the Valmiki Ramayana. So, this author also, Bibek Debroy, he first released the Mahabharata and then wrote the Ramayana. Right? So, the intention was to do a translation that was popular in style. That meant a conscious decision to avoid the use of diacritical marks, as would have been the case had one used IAST, International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration. Okay, if diacritical marks are not going to be used, there may be problems rendering names proper and geographic. Right? We have sought to use the English renderings as phonetic as possible. Thus, we use Gautama, okay, Goutama spelling, to refer to the sage of that name, although others have often referred to him elsewhere as Gautama. Okay. We have chosen Gautama on the logic that if Gomati is not Gamati, then why should Gautama be rendered as Gautama? Yeah, okay. So there remains the question of what one does with vowel sounds. How does one differentiate the short sound from the long? Should Rama be written as Rama and Sita as Seeta? That seemed to be too artificial and contrary to popular usage. On rare occasions, this does cause a problem with a danger of confusion between the ape Tara and his daughter Tara, okay, Wali's wife. Okay. Such occasions are, however, rare and we have explained them. However, there are also instances where we have deviated from popular usage. Hanumat is a case in point where Hanuman seemed to be too contrary to grammatical principles. There are some words that defy translation. Dharma is an example. Hence, we have not even tried to translate such words. So technically speaking, we don't. There is no translated word for dharma in English. Righteousness anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, but that's not the most equivalent word, right? So, hence we have not even tried to translate such words. The Goldman translation is academic in style. This translation style is more popular. Therefore, there is no attempt to overburden the reader with extensive notes. However, a straight translation may not be self explanatory. Hence, we have put in footnotes, just enough to explain without stretching the translation. So, as with the Mahabharata, the Valmiki Ramayana is a text about dharma. Dharma means several different things. Okay? The dharma of the four varnas and the four ashramas, the classes and stages of life, the governance template of Raja Dharma, the duty of kings, principles of good conduct, Sadachara, and the pursuit of objectives of human existence, Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, and Kama. As with the Mahabharata, the Valmiki Ramayana is a Smriti text. It has a human origin and composer. It is not a Shruti text. Right? So, Shruti, Smriti, right? There are two of those. Shrutis are things that sages heard during their meditations. Like most of the mantras, Rig Veda, all the Vedas, basically, all the Vedas are Shrutis that nobody really sat and sort of composed them. When the sages sat in their penance and meditation in the tapas, they heard these things and documented them. That's why they're called Shrutis, because Shruti means to listen, to hear, right? Smriti is the other way around, where something is composed, right? So based on your memory. So smarane and smriti, right? So you have a memory of something and then you jot down what you know about something. So while Ramayana and Mahabharata are smritis, right? So smriti texts are society and context specific. We should not try to judge and evaluate individuals and actions on the basis of today's value judgments. In addition, if the span of composition was 1000 years, from 500 BCE to 500 CE, those value judgments also change. The later composers and interpreters may have had problems with what the earlier composers authored. A case in point is when Sita is being abducted by Ravana. At a certain point in time, men and women universally wore an upper garment and a lower one. When she is being abducted through the sky, Sita casts aside and throws down not just her ornaments but her upper garment too. And this translation will illustrate this caused problems for subsequent composers and interpreters. Okay. To return to the notion of dharma, transcending all those collective templates of dharma, there is one that is individual in nature. Regardless of these collective templates, an individual has to decide what the right course of action is, and there is no universal answer as to what is right and what is wrong. Right? So dharma does not necessarily mean something that is right or wrong. Right? So just adding that point here, because uh, for a tiger to kill the deer, to attack and kill the deer and eat it, is its dharma, right? So for an ant to store food before it goes into hibernation, before the rainy season starts, is its dharma, right? So for an earthworm to help in decomposing dead animals, in the soil, is its dharma, right? So now you can't. So for a cheetah, for example, also to run and chase and catch the deer and eat it up, is its dharma, right? So there is no definition that dharma has to be only something that is good. Okay, so dharati iti dharma, that which you bear as your nature. Okay, so prakritiya dharma or praniya dharma, so each animal or each element in nature has its respective dharma, right? That which it is supposed to bear. Dharati means to bear, right? So that which it upholds, right? So regardless of these collective templates, an individual has to decide what the right course of action is, and there is no universal answer as to what is right and what is wrong. Right? So there are always contrary poles of dharma, with two notions of dharma pulling in different directions. It is not immediately obvious which is superior. Given the trade-offs, an individual makes a choice and suffers the consequences. Right? Why is there an impression that these individual conflicts of dharma are more manifest in the Mahabharata than in the Ramayana? Right? The answer probably lies in the nature of these two texts. What is the difference between a novel and a long story, even when both have multiple protagonists? Right? Protagonists are heroes or good people, right? And the opposite is antagonists. Antagonists are the villains. Right? So the difference between a novel and a long story is probably not one of length. A novel seeks to present the views of all protagonists. Right? Thus, the Mahabharata is a bit like a novel insofar as that trait is concerned. A long story does not seek to look at incidents and actions from the point of view of every protagonist. It is concerned with the perspective of one primary character, right, to the exclusion of others. In this distinction, if this distinction is accepted, the Valmiki Ramayana has the characteristics of a long story. It is Ramayana, right? Therefore, it is primarily from Rama's point of view. We aren't told what Bharata or Lakshmana thought, or for that matter, Urmila, Mandavi, or Shritakirti, right? There is little that is from Sita's point of view too, right? That leads to the impression that the Mahabharata contains more about individual conflicts of dharma. For the Valmiki Ramayana, from Rama's point of view, the conflicts of dharma aren't innumerable. Right? On that exile to the forest, Why did he take Sita and Lakshmana along with him? Was Shurpanaka's disfigurement warranted? Why did he unfairly kill Vali? Why did he make Sita go through tests of purity not once but twice? Why did he unfairly kill Shambhuka? Why did he banish Lakshmana? At one level, one can argue these are decisions by a personified divinity, and therefore mere humans cannot comprehend and judge the motives. Right? This point especially is very very highly discussed. So why did Rama have to do so many of those things? Why did he have to test Sita, exile Lakshmana, kill Vali from behind? I think we'll get to explore all of these things as we move further. Right? So, at another level, the unhappiness with Rama's decisions led to the composition of alternative versions of the Ramayana. Right? So, it's not that Rama was happy when he was testing Sita, getting her to do the Agni Pariksha, or exiling Lakshmana. So, it's not that he was happy about it, but because he had to follow what Dharma was back then, as per their interpretations, he had to do it, but it's questionable whether he was happy or not. Right? So it says here, at another level, the unhappiness with Rama's decisions led to the composition of alternative versions of the Ramayana itself. Right? Note that Sita's questions about dharma remain unanswered. Right? If you are going to the forest as an ascetic, why have you got weapons with you? Right? If the Rakshasas are causing injuries to hermits, punishing the Rakshasas is Bharata's job, because he was the ruling king back then. Now that he is the king, why are you dabbling in this? Note also Rama's justification at the time of Sita's first test. It wasn't about what others would think, that justification came later. The initial harsh words reflected his own questions about Sita's purity. Right? Thus, Rama's conflicts over dharma also exist. It is just that in the Valmiki Ramayana, it is about one individual alone. In conclusion, this translation is an attempt to get readers interested in reading the unabridged Valmiki Ramayana. Having read abridged versions, and there is no competition with those, to appreciate the nuances better, one should read the unabridged. And to appreciate the beauty of the poetry, one should then be motivated to read the text in Sanskrit. A translation is only a bridge, and an unsatisfactory one at that. Okay, so with that we are done with the introduction. Right. I'm taking a quick pause. Any thoughts? Anything anybody would like to speak about? Right. So dharma, like I said, is a highly debatable word. There is no equivalent English word for dharma at all. Sure, Marma. So I think with that we start off with the.
And also, what is dharma for one may not be
There
dharma
may
for
not be
another.
dharma for others. Yes.
For a sexual.
Yeah.
And ಧರ್ಮದ್ದು ಶ್ಲೋಕ ನೀವೀಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಧರತಿ ಇತಿ ಧರ್ಮ ಅಂತ is there a difference between ಧಾರ ಇತಿ
ಅದು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. I think that is also a variety. ಧರತಿ ಇತಿ ಧರ್ಮ ಕರೋತಿ ಇತಿ ಕರ್ಮ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ನಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನು. ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಡೂ ಇಸ್ ಕರ್ಮ. There's no again good karma, bad karma. You just have karma ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Because what I might be doing as a good thing might be bad for somebody else. So there is no good karma and bad karma, and there is no good dharma and bad dharma. What you do as your personality or character or your nature, fundamental nature, right? So if you take some insects, or take some dangerous insects also, like scorpions or whatever it is, so very poisonous spiders. They are also helping in maintaining the ecosystem, alva? So they are doing the respective dharma by whatever it is that they do, alva? So there is no good dharma and bad dharma, or good karma or bad karma. Rashmi wanted to add a point.
No, for dharma, the root is dra dhatu. It can be dharayati, dharati, or dharanat dharma. That's what.
Yeah, that which you uphold or bear. That's all. It's as simple as that.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Yes. So beginning with the chapter 1, Bala Kanda. I hope the reading pace is okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay. All right. So chapter 1. Okay. So again, I'm like we discussed in the last two sessions. Let us uh, at every point of time with each sentence, let us try to assume that it is about me, right? I am that character. Let us put ourselves in the shoes of each character as we read through each sentence of the of the epics, right? So avaga we will try to get to know that me in this particular situation demonstrating this particular behavior has been converted into one full character in the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Okay, so with that intention in mind, let's begin. Okay, so chapter 1, first sarga. Okay. Narada was a bull among sages, devoted to austerities and self studying. He was an ascetic and supreme among those who were eloquent. Valmiki asked him, right now, who in this world is valorous and possesses all the qualities? Who knows about dharma and about what has been done? Who is truthful in his words and firm in his vows? Who also possesses good conduct and is engaged in the welfare of all creatures? Who is also learned and capable? Who alone is the handsome one? Who has control over his own self and has conquered anger? Who is radiant and devoid of jealousy? When his anger is aroused in a battle, whom are even the gods scared of? I wish to hear about all this. My curiosity is great, O sage. You are the person who is capable of knowing about this kind of man. Narada knew about the three worlds. On hearing these words, he was delighted. Right? So he invited Valmiki to listen and said, O sage, the many qualities you have recounted are extremely rare. Using my intelligence, I will tell you about such a man. I have heard about him. He was born in the lineage of Ikshvaku and he is known to people as Rama. He is self controlled in his soul and immensely valorous. He is radiant, possesses fortitude, and is capable of controlling. He is intelligent and follows good policy. He is eloquent and handsome. He is a destroyer of enemies. He possesses broad shoulders and mighty arms. His neck is like a conch shell and his cheekbones stand out. His chest is broad and his bow is huge. He is a subjugator of enemies and his collarbones are hidden. His arms stretch down to his knees and he possesses an excellent head and a beautiful forehead. His tread is superb. He is medium in size and his limbs are well proportioned. He is pleasant in complexion and powerful. His chest is muscled and his eyes are large. He is prosperous and possesses all the auspicious qualities. He knows about dharma. He is firm in adhering to the truth and is devoted to the welfare of the subjects. He is famous and full of learning. He is pure, controlled, and has restrained himself. He is a protector of the world of the living and is also a protector of dharma. He knows the truth about the Vedas and Vedangas and is skilled in Dhanur Veda. He knows the truth about all the sacred texts. He is resplendent and has knowledge of the Smriti texts. He is virtuous and is loved by all the people. He can discriminate and is not distressed in his soul. Just as all rivers head towards the ocean, all virtuous people approach him. He is noble and impartial towards everyone. He alone is the handsome one. The one who extends Kausalya's lineage thus possesses all the qualities. In his gravity, he is like the ocean. In his patience, he is like the Himalayas. He is like Vishnu in valor. He is as handsome as the moon. In his rage, he is like the fire of destruction. In generosity, he is like the Lord of riches. Yet again, he is like Dharma in truthfulness. Rama possesses such qualities and truth in his valor. He is the eldest and possesses the best of qualities. He is Dasharatha's beloved son. In his affection, the Lord of the earth wished to instate him as the heir apparent. His wife Kaikeyi saw that arrangements were being made for the consecration. The queen asked for the boons that she had been granted earlier, that Rama be exiled and Bharata be anointed. The king was bound by the sanctity of his words and by the noose of Dharma. Dasharatha banished his beloved son Rama to follow the instruction in his father's words and to do what would bring pleasure to Kaikeyi. The brave one honored the pledge and left for the forest. When he left, his beloved brother Lakshmana, the extender of Sumitra's joy and full of affection and humility, followed him. Rama's wife, Sita, is supreme among women and possesses all the auspicious qualities. She also followed him like Rohini follows the moon. For some distance, the citizens and his father Dasharatha also followed him and then took leave of his son in Shringaverapura on the banks of the Ganga. They went from one forest to another forest and crossed rivers that were full of large quantities of water. Finally, they arrived in Chitrakuta under Bharadwaja's control. In that beautiful forest, the three of them constructed a beautiful abode and dwelt there happily, like the gods and the Gandharvas. When Rama left for Chitrakuta, lamenting with sorrow on account of his son, King Dasharatha went to heaven. When he died, the Brahmanas, with Vasishta at the forefront, wished to instate Bharata as the king, but the immensely strong one did not desire the kingdom. The brave one went to the forest and, falling at Rama's feet, sought his favors. Bharata's elder brother repeatedly asked Bharata to return and, for the sake of the kingdom, gave him his sandals. With his desire unsatisfied, he touched Rama's feet. Wishing to wait for Rama's return, he began to rule the kingdom from Nandigrama. Rama discerned that he might return there again, and so might citizens and other people. Single-minded, he entered Dandaka. He slew the Rakshasa Viradha and saw Sharabhanga. He met Sutikshna, Agastya and his brother. Following Agastya's words, he received Indra's bow and arrow, a sword and two inexhaustible quivers, and was extremely pleased. Rama dwelt in that forest. With the other forest dwellers, all the sages approached him so that the Asuras and Rakshasas could be slain. While he dwelt there, a Rakshasa lady named Shurpanaka, who resided in Janasthana and could assume any form at will, was disfigured. Goaded by Shurpanaka's words, all the Rakshasas attacked Khara, Trishira, and the Rakshasa Dushana. In the ensuing battle, Rama slew them and their followers. He killed 14,000 Rakshasas. On hearing that his kinsmen had been killed, Ravana became senseless with rage. Okay. So again, just taking a quick pause, right? So we might want to think about why 14,000? Why not 13,000? Why not 16,000? Why not 25,000? Right? So 14,000 may have some significance. I don't know right now. But there may be some significance with respect to, for example, the 16,008 apparently that I've heard are the Upanadis that we have in the body, right? So we have Sapta Chakras, the 7 chakras, and then we have 108. We have the 3 Nadis, Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna, and then that is further divided into 108 Upanadis, and then you have 16,000 Upanadis, Upa, so sub nadis, that will also lead to 72,000 nadis in the body. So every number apparently has an association with what we have in the body, right? So I also don't know what 14,000 means yet, but maybe it's something that we can think. So if the story here is saying that he slew 14,000 Rakshasas are negative qualities that we have within us, depreciating elements that we have within us, that does not let us be dharmic, right? So as a human, we have a dharma, and those things that don't let us follow that dharma is a rakshasa basically. So rakshasa is not somebody with sharp teeth and two horns on their head. That is not a rakshasa technically. That is how it has been depicted. A rakshasa is a negative quality within me that does not allow me to follow or adhere to dharma. So 14,000 such things are there within us. And we can take a correlation that we have 14,000 negative qualities within us that stop us from being dharmic, right? So just for the point, we can discuss this towards the end also. Okay, so yeah, on hearing that his kinsman had been killed, Ravana became senseless with rage. He summoned and sought the help of the Rakshasa named Maricha. Maricha tried to Maricha or Maricha, Rashmi? Maricha, or Maricha.
Maricha.
Maricha. Okay, he
It's
summoned
difficult if there are no diacritical
yeah,
marks.
how though?
Actually.
That's what he's mentioned in the beginning. Yeah. Anyway, so just for the reference of for everyone, the numbers that you can see here, 29, 31, these are the shloka numbers, by the way. Okay, so in the other book that I have shared, the Gita Press Gorakhpur, all the shlokas are there, right? It will take us a lot of time if we start reciting the shlokas. So I'm leaving it to us as a responsibility that let's take the time off when we find time during the day to to read the shlokas, right? So which is there in the Gita Press Gorakhpur book that I have shared with all of you. Okay. Yeah. So he's translated them. See, by now we've already come through half the Ramayana story already, right? So in the first chapter itself, it's like an introduction that sort of summarizes the entire story. So the shloka numbers are here respectively. Okay, these are also footnotes as well. So there are footnotes. So if you look at the hard copy book, each page has a footnote in the bottom of it. So this is the soft copy here for us. So yeah, so you can refer to those. Okay. So I'm deliberately not reading the shlokas in the interest of time, but let's take it as our own self initiative to read the shlokas. Yeah. He summoned and sought the help of the Rakshasa named Maricha. Maricha tried to restrain Ravana several times. Okay, O Ravana, you will not be pardoned if you oppose someone as powerful as him. Ravana, goaded by destiny, did not pay any heed to these words. Okay. With Maricha, he went to his hermitage. The two princes were drawn far away by the one versed in Maya, that is Maricha. Having slain the vulture Jatayu, he abducted Rama's wife. On hearing about the vulture being killed and on hearing about Maithili, Raghava was tormented by sorrow. He lamented his senses distracted. In that state of grief, he cremated the vulture Jatayu. While he was searching for Sita in the forest, he saw a Rakshasa. His name was Kabandha. He was malformed and terrible to see. The mighty armed one killed him. While he ascended upwards towards heaven, he told him about Shabhari, who was a follower of Dharma. O Raghava, this ascetic lady is full of Dharma, go to her. The immensely energetic one, the slayer of enemies, went to Shabhari. Shabhari worshipped Dasharatha's son in the proper way. On the shores of the Pampa, he met the ape Hanumat. On Hanumat's word, he met Sugriva. The immensely strong Rama told Sugriva everything that had happened. In affection and full of grief, the king of the apes told Rama everything about the enmity. The ape also told him about Vali's strength. Rama promised that he would kill Vali. However, Sugriva always suspected the extent of Raghava's valor. Dundubhi's gigantic skeleton was there. To establish credibility, Raghava used the big toe on his foot to fling this 10 yojanas away. Right? So yet again, with one single and large arrow, he pierced 7 sala trees. To generate confidence, he also dispatched a mountain to the nether regions. After this, the giant ape was assured and delighted in his mind. He went with Rama to Kishkinda and to the mouth of the cave. Sugriva, supreme among apes and golden brown in complexion, started to roar there. On hearing his loud roar, the lord of the apes emerged. Following Sugriva's words, he killed Vali in the encounter. So you're able to see like patches and patches of the story coming here and there. On continuity, we wouldn't know, right? So it is because this is like the summary or a summarized part of the whole story in the introduction itself, right? So we will see them being elaborated as we go further. Okay. So following Sugriva's words, he killed Vali in the encounter. Raghava returned the kingdom to Sugriva and instated him there. The bull among apes summoned all the apes to search for Janaka's daughter. He sent them in all the directions. The strong Hanumat heard the words of the vulture Sampati. Sampati is the brother of Jatayu. Okay. He leapt over the salty ocean and extended for 100 yojanas. That extended for 100 yojanas. He reached the city of Lanka, ruled by Ravana. He saw Sita meditating in the forest of Ashoka. To establish Vaidehi's confidence, he gave her the sign he had been given. Right? So in some cartoons and all, we see that some ornaments were given, some a ring or something like that, right? So the sign had been given. He comforted her and broke down the gate. He killed 5 foremost commanders and 7 sons of ministers. Having crushed the brave Aksha, he allowed himself to be captured. Because of a boon received from the grandfather, he knew that he was capable of freeing himself from any weapon. However, the brave one wished to tolerate the Rakshasas and those who had captured him. With the exception of Maithili Sita, he burnt down the city of Lanka. To bring pleasure to Rama and to give him the news, the giant ape then returned. Having reached, he circumambulated the great souled Rama. The one whose soul is immeasurable reported the truth about how he had seen Sita. With Sugriva, he went to the shores of the great ocean. He agitated the ocean with arrows that were like the rays of the sun. The ocean, the lord of the rivers, showed himself. On the words of the ocean, he asked Nala to construct a bridge. Using this, he went to the city of Lanka and killed Ravana in the battle. He instated Vibhishana, Indra among Rakshasas, in the kingdom of Lanka. Because of the great soul Raghava's deeds, the mobile and immobile objects of the 3 worlds and the gods and the sages were satisfied. Supremely content, all the gods worshipped him. See, it's very curious to see why Vibhishana was also a Rakshasa, but Rama instated him as the king. Okay, so in the Rakshasana, I am trying to hold within me. Rakshasa, again, I'm equating that to a negative character, right? But this is a good Rakshasa, right? So I have a negative character which is actually helping me, right? So we'll again try to understand what Vibhishana is in me psychologically. Right? It's very important for us to reflect on such things. Okay, so yeah, because of the great soul Raghava's deeds, the mobile and immobile objects in the 3 worlds and the gods and the sages were satisfied. Supremely content, all the gods worshipped him. Having accomplished his task, Rama was delighted and devoid of anxiety. Having obtained a boon from the gods, he revived all the slain apes. Right? Ascending Pushpaka, he left for Nandigrama. Pushpaka Viman, right? That flying vehicle that he had. Apparently it belonged to Ravana. Right? So, ascending Pushpaka, he left for Nandigrama. In Nandigrama, with his brothers, the unblemished one removed his matted hair. Rama got Sita back and also got back his kingdom. The people are joyous and delighted. Those who are scrupulous in following dharma are nurtured. Though there is recovery from disease, there are no famines and everything is devoid of fear. No man has to witness the death of his son. Women are not ignoble and never become widows. Right? They are devoted to their husbands. There is no fear from the wind. Creatures never get submerged in water. There is no fear from fire. It is exactly as it was in Krita Yuga, the first Yuga. Right? He performs 100 horse sacrifices and gives away a lot of gold. Following the appropriate ordinances, he gives away crores of cattle to the learned. Raghava will establish 100 royal lineages that possess all the qualities. In this world, he will engage the four varnas in their own respective tasks. Rama will thus honor the kingdom for 11,000 years and then go to Brahma's world. Right? So he lived for 11,000 years. No? So this is a sacred account and destroys all sins. It is auspicious and in conformity with the Vedas. If a person reads about this conduct, he is cleansed of all sins. A man who reads the account of the Ramayana has a long life with his sons, grandsons, and followers. After death, he obtains greatness in heaven. A Brahmana who reads this becomes eloquent in speech. A Kshatriya obtains lordship over land. A merchant obtains the fruits of trading. And a Shudra person obtains greatness. Okay. Again, this I think this particular last line is not as per application form. Now, Brahmana, Kshatriya, not as per what we feel in the application form. It is by our, again, nature and conduct, right? So, a son of a Brahmana can be a Shudra as well, right? A son of a Shudra can be a Kshatriya. A son of a Kshatriya can be a Shudra, based on their conduct, right? Yeah, so I think we can pause with that. So chapter 1. So he's given it in small chapters. So I think we can stick to one chapter a session, right? So we are at 5:55 anyway. Okay, so yes, I think I'll stop presenting with that. Any thoughts or anything? We have the last 5 minutes just for reflection. Any questions, thoughts?
When you said what could be the characteristic of Vibhishana, a bad quality that is helping us in any way. My mind is still stuck there. I'm not able to find any.
Yeah, I mean, when we go through Vibhishana's part, we will be able to pick some, key, key characteristics alinda. So Vibhishana's part, yeah, like how Karna was also a mix of both positive and good, alva, good and bad. So Vibhishana, based on all the tiny bits of the story that we know, Vibhishana was one among the Rakshasas. I mean, he was the brother of Ravana who stopped him consistently. Mad beda, don't do this, return Sita, anta. Right? Now, why would a negative quality do that? Anta? So we might want to ponder over that. Right? So I have a negative quality in me, but it is stopping me from doing other negative qualities. Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to say, what I understand is just because he's a Rakshasa, and he's born in the clan of a Rakshasa, his mother was a Rakshasi. It's not that he's going to be a negative quality. What I understand is Rama accepts Vibhishana in part of his team because he sees that Vibhishana was dharmic. So, I mean, if you're not seeing in the psychological perspective, I understand it that because he was dharmic, even though he's born in a Rakshasa clan, doesn't matter. He has the dharmic qualities and he deserves to be the king. That is the idea of Rama stating Vibhishana to be the king.
Yeah.
Looking at a psychological perspective, we can do that as well. But from this, what I understand is, doesn't matter if he's born in a Rakshasa clan, your qualities is what that matters.
Correct.
What this part is giving out.
Very true.
So he's not a negative person. He is the positive person, even though he's from the Rakshasa clan.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very true. So I mean, we can always ask the question. I mean, why didn't Rama maybe appoint Angada or somebody else as the king of Lanka or the king of Rakshasas, right? So he appointed a Rakshasa only to be the king of Rakshasas because only a Rakshasa can connect with a Rakshasa, alva? So ಈಗ ಮುಳ್ಳಿಂದನೇ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಯು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಅ ಥಾರ್ನ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಥಾರ್ನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ನೌ Vibhishana is definitely a Rakshasa by birth. I mean, not by birth, by biologically, right? Psychologically, is he a Rakshasa? That is what we will try to maybe figure out, right? So, yeah, that's a very nice thing. So, I mean, just because I think that's a good correlation, especially for while we fill up the application forms to, in this, now in this current age, right? Because just because my mother and father are Brahmins, as per their application form, I am also a Brahmin, right? Just because my mother and father belong to an other backward class or SC/ST, now that I am born, am I also an SC/ST, right? So yeah, I think that way we can, anybody can change another. Na? We can take that. Alva? So nobody is born Rakshasa and dies Rakshasa. Nobody is born Shudra and dies Shudra. Nobody needs to be born a Brahmana and die a Brahmana. Alva? So Athara. So I think we can take it that way. Yeah. Deepa, you are welcome to please explore more. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರು, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಶೋರ್ ವಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನೌ ಕ್ಯೂರಿಯಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ 14,000. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ, because I'm pretty sure there are no random numbers thrown in the Ramayana or Mahabharata for sure, right? So even all those, I think in the next parts we'll also see the Akshohinis, what are Maharathis, what is Akshohinis, the size of your army, one unit of your army, right? So those are all related to our psychological traits. So okay. Great. Yes, that brings us exactly 6 o'clock. Okay. So next Thursday sigana. So we will then wind up. Yeah. Idu sarve bhavantu sukhinah helbidoಣ. Rashmi ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀಯಾ ಶ್ಲೋಕನ, ಎಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಸರ್ವೇ ಭವಂತು ಸುಖಿನಃ.
ಸರ್ವೇ ಭವಂತು ಸುಖಿನಃ, ಸರ್ವೇ ಸಂತು ನಿರಾಮಯಾಃ, ಸರ್ವೇ ಭದ್ರಾಣಿ ಪಶ್ಯಂತು, ಮಾ ಕಶ್ಚಿತ್ ದುಃಖಭಾಗ್ ಭವೇತ್. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ.
Thank you. See you all next Thursday. All right.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Yeah.